Hey guys, welcome back to the car rides where we talk about anxiety and what's going on in here, what it affects all of me and everything that I do every day. Oh, it's kind of scary to put it that way. I probably shouldn't put it that way. Let me shut these windows. I'm currently on the way to pick up my nephew and niece. I am going to take them to the museum in our town, and we're going to go to, they're having like a farm day or an animal day, and maybe we'll get some lunch, go to the park after, I'm not sure. But I just wanted to film a quick video as I'm driving on my way to pick them up, so I could talk a little bit about anxiety, because I think that it's like this is a good way to do it, and it'll help me. Like, I don't know why, but I have like the best conversations with my husband while we're in the car driving, and it's part of the reason is because there's so many distractions. There's so many freaking distractions in your everyday world, and I have the worst like attention span ever. Like, I used to be able to sit down and read a book and like finish it in a day, maybe even more than one book. I mean, like a paperback. I'm talking about when I was younger, when I was a kid. And I just don't have that ability anymore. And I find it, I still love to read, but I find it hard to do. And part of it is from going to college and stuff like that. And I just, I got this distaste for reading because I just had to do so darn much of it that it just was like overload, information overload. And that's also what problem I have with technology now is it's just information overload. And I do it to myself. I mean, my job does it, I do it, the world does it, but on big part, when I do have time off, I can't stop cramming my brain. Like, I was always a multitasker. You would see me like, or I would try to be, where I would pull out something and I would say, oh yeah, I'm gonna do like everything, I'm gonna organize this, and I would literally like pull out everything everywhere. I wouldn't just focus on one area, finish it, and move on to the next. I would just make a huge mess. I mean, I would clean it and I would organize it, but it's just like I would do it in the worst way possible. So yeah, I don't know why I have the tendency to do that. Is it to quiet the whatever? I don't know. Anyway, as an adult, it helps you in your job usually, and I'm in customer service or client services, as I have been for most of my life. I mean, most of my working life. Started when I was 16, and I was working part-time at a library, and you have to deal with people, and so I've always had to multitask because there's always some other person in line, some other person asking you a question, some phone ringing, some this, some that. It's very difficult to focus on a task. And I've noticed lately, because my job has added some technology, which is supposed to make things easier, and it oftentimes doesn't. It makes it harder. It's like double work, is what we like to call it, or triple work sometimes, because it's like you have to touch so many places and do so many things. And I was reading one of those life hacker interviews, and they asked a person, I think she did like coding and she did programming, and she was like, the best advice I ever read was, or she had ever heard was, with technology wise, like it's a person's responsibility who does those types of things to make that technology as helpful and as smooth and as easy as possible. Like, it's their duty, it's their responsibility to do that, and I fully believe that. And there's just so many things where you're just like, it's so frustrating sometimes to do something with a computer. I mean, and I think it is just in the nature of it, where it's a lack of knowledge, it's a lack of experience. I mean, you can learn something inside and out and still have problems, like in grad school, where, well, I can't say that, because Microsoft Word, it has all these extra components, and sometimes you just want to be like, as a student, I just need a program that does this. I don't need a program that can do word art and resize the text box and and then how sometimes you're writing something and like all of a sudden it'll like the formatting will switch, and you'll be like, what the heck? Like, I just needed to do this. I need it to be formatted in a way that my teacher will accept, and this is what I need to do, and it should be easy. You should type, do tab, blah blah blah, paragraph, double space. Oh wait, they want me to add a title, and it's like, yeah, you know what, let's not get into that, because I could probably talk about that a lot, because I've written a lot of papers over time. Yeah, so technology just adds this extra element of anxiety in my life. And, it's at the point where, you feel sometimes like you can't live without something. And that's a scary thing, because technology is so addicting. And when I say technology, I mean cell phones, I mean social media. And again, it's all stuff that people didn't have to deal with. And I didn't have to deal with when I was younger. I was homeschooled for most of my childhood into teenage years. And I didn't have to, computers weren't a thing when I was young. So I'm probably aging myself. I still took like a handwriting class in elementary school. One day I'll do a story time about homeschooling and what an experience that was for me. And it wasn't the best experience, but it was an experience. It got me where I am today. So I'm not going to say that it was all bad. And I do think that people can do it, and they can do it well. It just so happened that my family didn't do it that well. And so it does, and it does affect me later in life, and it will continue to affect me. But anyway, enough of that. Talk about attention spans and going off topic. And I'm almost at my family's house, so I'll just keep this one short. This one kind of developed into talking about technology and anxiety, and I've been dealing with that a lot because, again, my job added this new element of technology that just creates so much tension and anxiety. But it's something that's supposedly supposed to free up time and make things easier and free up and just like make things smoother and like all in one place. But it kind of does the opposite. And as a society, and I love to make generalizations, I'm not gonna lie, but I'd like to not make generalizations, but I do, and I will, and I'm gonna use cliches, and I'm gonna oversimplify things sometimes, so just get used to it, because that's life. That's human reality. Life is that stuff kind of that happens, but as I was saying, like, wait, I'm losing my train of thought. I just go off, and words go forth and tumble out of my brain, and they just get lost up in the sky. So anyway, this new technology was introduced. A couple of new different technologies and programs and things that are supposed to streamline our workflow process. And it creates more work. It creates this kind of hectic feeling, and this feeling, like I can't even describe it. I mean, anybody with anxiety knows like what it is to be overloaded and what it is to be kind of, some people, I'm not going to say everybody, but I'm speaking about me and my anxiety, and I am easily overwhelmed, and this is something that has always been a problem. I'm a procrastinator. Stressful things make me like, I'm a worrier. I'm a number one A1 worrier. I'm afraid to have kids one day because, I'm going to be like staring at them as they sleep to make sure that they're not not able to breathe. Like, and if they ever like catch their breath, I'm going to be like, let's take them to the doctor. Like, I'm scared. I think most people are scared of children, having children and raising them, and anyway, another tangent, another thing. Like, you should have seen me when I used to have to try to write an outline for a paper and try to form thoughts and make them cohesive. I usually had to write the paper and then write the outline if I ever was forced to do that, and I absolutely hated that. And I wish I was more able to focus and to get my brain good like that. Like, I shouldn't be drinking this. It's iced coffee. Not great for anxiety, I hear. And I'm sure that's true. Caffeine and sugar and all that. But it's one of my guilty pleasures. One of many. But just to wrap this up, and trying to wrap my head around why I'm struggling with what I'm struggling with. Let's just put it that way. And I don't want to go into it too deeply, but I mean, this is kind of like therapy. Hey guys, let's chat. Anybody else struggle with any of these things? Comment and let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'm gonna, either way, I'm gonna keep talking. I'm gonna keep interacting and making videos about anxiety, because it's just something that people are starting to talk about and to identify with, and to say, you know what, I have anxiety. I have, anxiety. When you how do I put this? Anxiety that overwhelms you and that affects your behavior. That's the kind of anxiety I'm talking about. I'm not talking about, hey, I'm about to go bungee jumping and the anxiety is up to here. That's a different kind of anxiety. That's a controlled anxiety where you're choosing to do something that is creating this feeling in the moment, and it's after you have that moment, it's over. But I'm talking about the kind of anxiety that stays with you, that's been there since you were a kid, or that has developed. Like, there's always something new in my life to be anxious about. Let's just put it that way. And I don't want to think about it that way, because I don't want to manifest it. But it's the truth. Like, there are things that happen that create ripples and create effects. Everything, I'm sure there's some theories. Sorry, I talk with my hands if you haven't noticed. So there. Anyway, guys, I think I'm going to keep this one under 40 million hours and just keep it short and sweet, and say that this is a topic that I'm going to continue to talk about, continue to explore. I'm not just going to make them succinct and short and sweet and say, oh, this week we're going to talk about this one, and this week we're going to... I mean, everything intertwines. Everything in our lives intertwines and relates to each other. So I'm just going to say, I might add some footage of the kids and I at the museum, because that'll be fun. Why not? And yeah, so I'll see you guys in a little while, when I'll hopefully be having a good time and having some fun, and see the kids, David, Carolyn. But I'll see you guys in a little bit.